We are back with some more huge transfer news, guys, and it's a brand new one for Arsenal. I'm really, really excited about the prospect of Timber joining Arsenal. This is very new. This popped out of nowhere last night. It was quite late in England, and Orny, you know Orny, he dropped a bomb on Twitter that Arsenal are basically in advanced talks to sign Timber from Ajax. This is a player that I think Manchester United are very interested in, and I'm sure plenty of other clubs around Europe will be sniffing around. Apparently, Ajax will want 50 million euros. Arsenal would want to pay about 30. Of course, we would. I've got to say, it's starting to bug me a little bit over the years. I think we're better at transfers in general these days, but we're seeing it with the Rice thing as well. Why are we bidding so far under what they're asking for? I know it's early in the window, and I know you could argue that the longer it goes on, the more fair the price could become. But you're also risking letting other clubs swoop in. You know, you're hearing City coming in for Rice. I'm sure other clubs will hear that Arsenal are looking to sign Timber, and they will potentially look to launch bids. Just get the deal done. We could be talking with the Rice deal. I think our second bid has been rejected this morning. We could be 5 million off. 5 million. Is it worth losing out on targets for something like that? In the grand scheme of things, Timber is easily worth 40, 50 million pounds. He is a right back, centre back, can play in midfield. He would be an elite signing for most top European clubs. But it does seem like Arsenal are most likely at the moment. But of course, we're linked with everyone. So who knows where this is going to go? I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this one. This excites me. I truly believe that he fits what we do at Arsenal, and that versatile type signing, we know Arteta loves it. Moving on, we have City in talks with Vadio, one of the best young players in the world. RB Leipzig reckon they can get well over £100 million for him, or euros, sorry. And apparently City don't think that's right, and that maybe they're leaning towards the 80 million mark. But of course, it's just rumours. You have to take all of these rumours in every transfer with a pinch of salt. We don't actually know what's going on behind closed doors, but I bet you, especially with the next signing I'm talking about, Gvardiol would be quite excited to join this project at Man City. And of course, he's going to be expensive. There's no doubt he is one of the greatest young centre-backs in the world right now. And the fact he's left-footed, a lot of people forget that. It is more uncommon. I think, I want to say 20% of top-level players, you know, players that make it into professional football, only 20% of them are left-footed. It is a rare commodity these days to have a top-level left-footed centre-back for some reason. So many clubs are looking for them. And Gvardiol is, of course, one of the very best. I think this is a deal that will be done. I think he will end up there because they're also in talks with Kovacic, of course. This seems to be a done deal. They just haven't announced it yet. £35 million is being discussed. I mean, for an experienced player that's played at Real Madrid, Chelsea, Champions League winner, Premier League winner, he's got everything. Actually, is he a Premier League winner? I don't think he is. Sorry, I might have got that wrong, but £35 million is an absolute steal if that's true. It seems like maybe they're preparing for Gundogan to leave, but maybe they wanted a central midfielder to come in anyway. Kovacic, there isn't many better, really, is there? And I think Chelsea are silly to let him go, but I don't think they're letting him go. I think he probably wants to leave, along with a lot of other players that maybe don't want to be a part of this new era at Chelsea. It looks a bit messy there, doesn't it, at the moment? So, yeah, I don't blame him. Put it that way. We do have another signing potentially going to Chelsea, which we're going to talk about later. But first, let's talk about Maddison. There are two clubs leading the way, apparently. Tottenham and Newcastle, desperate to sign him. He's playing for England despite getting relegated this season. I think that says a lot about his quality. We all know Maddison is probably comfortably Leicester's best player over the last few seasons. What a player. Fantastic player. I'm very jealous to see him go. Any club that get him, I'll be jealous. I really will. Personally, I would recommend he goes to Newcastle. That's just me. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan. I just feel like he's actually got more of a chance of winning things at Newcastle than Tottenham. It is as simple as that for me. He'll probably get a bigger wage there, I would imagine. I don't know, actually. Tottenham do pay very well. It's going to be an interesting one because I feel like Maddison is one of those players that we've seen glimpses of how good he could be at Leicester. All it's going to take is for him to click in a new team that's a little bit higher quality, like a Newcastle, like a Tottenham, or quite a lot better than Leicester this season, that's for sure. Last season, I think it's gonna click into place, and he's going to be an absolute superstar. Very good player. Now let's talk about Man City selling potentially Kyle Walker to Bayern. It's a weird one, this. First, Bayern took Cancelo. They didn't want to pay the 70 million euro buyout clause, whatever that was. I don't really blame them. I think Cancelo for 70 million it's probably worth it if you're desperate in that position, but maybe Bayern aren't exactly desperate in that right back role. I've heard that Pavard could be on his way out, and they're looking to bring in Kyle Walker. But the latest I've heard on Kyle Walker is that he wants to stay and that he's going to sign another new deal. I think it's going to be one season with an optional extra season. I think he's 34 soon, or he's almost. Actually, he might be 34. I think he might already be 34. Either way, he's definitely coming towards the end of his career, but he's still so good. He is still a fantastic right back. I'm pretty sure he's 33 right now that I think about it. There's a lot of player ages in my head that I'm trying to keep track of with this window. It would be a great signing for Bayern. There's no doubt about it, because he's such a physical right back. He's so quick. He single-handedly kept Vinicius Jr. quiet. I wouldn't want to play against Kyle Walker, that's for sure. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think he's going to end up staying at City. Let's talk about Declan Rice's potential replacement. There were talks of if City were to make an offer, they might include Calvin Phillips. But the latest is Paulinho from Fulham could be on his way to West Ham, another London club, of course. And it makes sense. It really does. Look, no disrespect to Fulham. I think they're a really good club and they had a fantastic season. But I think we could potentially all agree that West Ham are a bigger project, a bigger club. He's going to earn more money there. And it wouldn't surprise me if this happens. I think, if you were to ask Paulinho, where would you rather be? He'd probably say West Ham. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing this in the wrong way. I'm sure there'll be people in the comments saying, Fulham are a massive club. What are you talking about? And I know, but I feel like with Declan Rice leaving, all midfielders know that they're stepping into a huge role at West Ham. A club legend, literally. He's a legend at West Ham. He just is, okay? Even though he's so young. They're leaving a huge void in their midfield now, West Ham. And I think most midfielders at that kind of level will be looking at that and going, cool, I could make that my own. I could be my own West Ham legend. So I think Paulinho makes sense. Maybe City will offer Phillips. That could also be a good move, I would say. But either way, it seems very clear that Declan Rice is 100% leaving the club. Now, moving on to Ruben Neves. This one is really upsetting me. So I've got nothing against the Saudi League trying to lure these top players in. Okay, I get it. They're trying to grow their league. They're spending a reported 2 billion over the next few seasons to recruit players. But what I do have a problem with is when you've got players like Ruben Neves who are now going into their prime and they're being tempted away from the best league in the world, like the Premier League, to go and play in the Saudi League at 26. Now, obviously, he's been offered a bag. I think we can all understand that, okay? He's probably been offered 600 grand a week or something like that. And of course, that's very tempting, isn't it? But you've got to wonder, Neves is reportedly wanting a Barca move. He could go to Bayern. He could go to City. Like, he could play for pretty much any top European club. I really do believe that. He's such a quality player. But he's going for the money. And I understand it. And I think when I said I don't have a problem with the Saudi League doing this, I mean the top players that are at the end of their careers. So they basically go and retire there. A bit like what the MLS were doing. A decade ago with Beckham and Ibra, and it's just I don't like it. I don't think this is right. I think, unfortunately for the Saudi League, it's never going to be that popular. My wife asked me, because I was talking to my friends on Discord about what the Saudi League are doing, attracting these players. And she just said, do you think that that league could actually be as big as the Premier League or whatever? And straight away I said, no, there's no way. If there's 20 teams in the league, 25 players in each team, it doesn't matter to me if they've signed 2 or 3 ballers. I'm not going to watch them because of that. I'm still going to have to watch the Saudi League in general, with 95% of the players being either Saudi or at that level. I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but I just don't care. I genuinely don't care if Al Hilal sign Neves, Partey, Ziyech, and they play next season together. I'm not going to watch. So maybe I'm not the target audience, but it just feels wrong, this. We'll move on, because it makes me feel a little bit angry at football that this is something that can happen when you've got a player like Neves, who I'm sure dreamed of lifting the Champions League, winning the Premier League, whatever. Up next, we have the Chelsea saga with a striker. Are they going to bring in a striker this summer? It seems like Jackson is on his way. A release clause of 35 million I've been reading. Now, I did some research because I don't know much about Jackson. I heard of him midway through last season. I think I remember he played a pre-season game, and I saw some highlights of that recently, and he looked very, very tidy. Very good player. He's physically good. He's obviously an out-and-out striker, maybe more so than a Havertz, a Werner when he was there. He looks like a true number 9. I think he's going to be a strong, quick, good, lethal finisher, and that's what Chelsea need. And for 35 mil, it's a little bit of a gamble, because I think, he hasn't been consistently at the top level for years. It's not a guarantee that he's going to come to the Premier League and absolutely smash it. But, it's kind of like the Fofana deal, the other striker that they've signed. I think they're both very good options for the future. And it's very clear that Chelsea are doing what Arsenal did 2 seasons ago, even last season, just rebuilding the entire club with young players that have a great potential. And it could work out for them. It really could. But that wraps up today's transfer rumours. Some really big moves. I'm really hoping that Timber does end up at Arsenal. I think that would be a fantastic deal. I'm really hoping that Vadio doesn't go to City. I would very much like to avoid them getting any stronger. Talking about Maddison was interesting as well. Like, is he going to pick a Tottenham move over a Newcastle move, or is he going to go to Newcastle because maybe it suits his style more? I don't know if Tottenham really could get the best out of Maddison if they're continuing to play the way they have played. It's an interesting one. I love the transfer window, and I love making these videos. So if you enjoy them, if you like getting your transfer news from me, leave a comment, hit the like button, and I guess I will see you in the next one when there's some more news.